in today's world, in the 2024 going to 2025, is simply you just got to be an extroverted person. If you want to win in any case or anything, I simply think being extroverted is an advantage sometimes. And in terms of that, I don't care if you're in sales, you're learning education, being in college, or pursuing a career in any sort of industry or career field, being an extroverted person will lead to so much more mystery, gifting, opportunity that you might have missed out. Simply taking advantage of being an extroverted person, you gotta be brave enough to speak up and then approach the other and simply learn from them. With that being said, it brings in so much opportunity in life, such as just simply talking to someone that you wouldn't even know on the street that could have been a billionaire or a millionaire, giving you the best advice that you could ever ask for. And trust me, no one comes here in an easy situation, nothing comes smooth and fast. But with being an extroverted person, you asking someone for advice or from their expertise and experience is simply it's a key of leverage. It's a way for you to jump out of your own circle and comfort zone in order to reach for the better. Just simply in sales, if you were an introverted person, I get it. You probably do more of a thinking before you speak up, but sometimes it's more about the action and the execution. You just got to simply go do it. And because of that one time you speaking up, one time that you're jumping out of your comfort zone, you're speaking to someone that you don't know, might have been a life-changing opportunity laying there on the table. Although sometimes you might get negative opinion or someone just judging you based off of you asking them something, or you might be kind of annoying. But guess what? On the flip side, it's a 50-50 chance in this world. There's no 100% guarantee. You won't know who you're talking to, might have changed your life, or you wouldn't know someone that would tell you something that you could have fixed up in your life. Maybe you even get better advice, because sometimes we don't see the problem within ourselves. But simply being an extroverted person, speaking up or asking someone maybe what you could improve, or what that something that you're doing good that you should keep up doing, is the fastest way to get feedback, result, and you could improve and have high execution. Just like having opportunity to learn from others. When someone willing to share their life experience or something that they've been through a lot, such as business experience or even their career field, you probably don't know what type of opportunity you're going to end up getting, because learning from other is the fastest way to learn a certain task or skill. Just imagine and think about a time you're trying to learn a skill. Won't you go on YouTube, go on Google? Won't you go learn from someone else? So why not simply be an extroverted person and go step up your game and simply go ask them to teach you hand by hand in person, maybe sending them a cold email, cold call them, maybe to get them in person and meet up and learn from them, set up a coffee chat, because you never ever would know. By doing such a move, you could learn something way faster than someone that willing to figure out themselves and fumbling all the time over and over, failing over and over, while you could have just simply step up your game and ask someone for the best direct advice. But one thing, you hear me out here. Not every single advice is the best, and you simply have to differentiate it out. What are opinion and what are the advice? Because oftentimes some of the opinion may have impacted you negatively and you might have been lost or not as happy. But if you think about it on the flip side, that opinion could be the most direct feedback of something that you might have approved, because there isn't anything perfect in the world and in any type of situation. And you simply just have to accept the fact that the thing is happening, is supposed to go in that way, but the way of you reacting to it, it could be a lot of difference. So just because you ask someone off the street, they don't want to give you any advice or anything, but you simply know next time you go ask again, you might have another shot at it. And you don't lose anything by asking someone, because if that person don't want to respond to you, you might have just never seen them again off the street. But if you caught that opportunity, might have been a 50-50 chance, or even better, sometimes might be a 20-80 chance, because some of the most successful people are more open up. They're receiving idea, gaining different idea, and sharing idea among with different people that are also successful. And in today's world, there is so much distraction getting our attention. It's so important that we're willing to reach out and go further and deeper down into a conversation rather than just seeing a base layer of it, just such as watching a TikTok. we only see what the person is posting about, but we don't know any of the behind the scenes, what they've been through, or how the process of making the video. So simply go reaching out and texting them, DMing them, learning from them, or maybe collab with them might lead to some sort of new opportunity for you to gain some knowledge or learn something new. And trust me, being an extroverted some person, oftentimes it leads to you building up a more comfortable environment. Because as I noticed, oftentimes when you're being more shy and then you're scared to talk to people, you're scared to share something, maybe your personal lifestyle or maybe something that might have not related to the certain topic that you're talking about or in a chat about. By simply being extroverted and go deeper into the conversation, it brings to more of a comfortable vibe. So think about a time you talk to maybe your professor or a teacher. Everything is so serious when you only talk about the schoolwork. But if you simply step outside your comfort zone and be a little bit more different, you begin speaking to them in a different way, such as asking how their days was or what they've been up to the week recently. Maybe that could lead to a whole new conversation. You never probably would knew that your professor could have an opportunity giving to you, maybe like an internship, or maybe that something that came up in mind that you could have helped in such a way that maybe in a field that you're really good at. Maybe, for example, if your professor is really into sport or soccer, if you are really a good athlete and a good soccer player, you probably could have given some advice and made the whole entire conversation more relaxed and enjoyable. Because sometimes when you're so deep into the topic, everything feels so serious, you don't perform the best because you're nervous. And simply when you're nervous, you don't get the best results. So it's better to make the environment more comfortable by kicking off the conversation, bringing into more lifestyle, personal life, and a lot more farther than what you're just talking about. Just like me putting up this video right here, it's not everything is about entrepreneurship, business, career. It's never that. It's all about sharing our life perspective and the creativity side of each different person. Because oftentimes I've seen content creator are not willing to reach out to different creators because they want to have their own unique style. But in order to create your own trend, your own unique style, you gotta learn from others. You first join them and then you improve from them. And which is why Apple, the company itself, is so successful. They wasn't the first company to start up all the digital technology era. They were actually learning from different companies such as Extroverted or IBM and Microsoft, and later built into their own technology and enhance it. And trust me, Steve Jobs definitely have so much conversation over so many different people in different career field. I mean, he's more of an introverted person who like to think more and then put in some action and work and have a very high criteria and expectation. But he often step outside of his comfort zone and speak to other and share his idea, what other would think, even though what other people would come up to him with idea, he often will reject them, but end up accepting them at the end because of how grateful and awesome the idea is. It's just that human, we need to build community. We need to start speaking up more and talk to people. And that's the point of having social media. And think about how fast stuff spread nowadays, such as trend and all the stuff. Everything go through the news, the social media, like instantly, just like a snap. And with us building more of a more connecting, relatable environment, we learn so much faster and we move faster as a human revolution as a whole. And sometimes being extroverted person, I could tell you this, you could really turn a hater into a friend. So I often have people on social media comment on my real estate posts that talking about this and that. Why is it so expensive? Why are you doing all that? Why are you showing this, doing that? Like, sometimes people have negativity to spread and the world isn't always perfect. At the end of the day, you always got to expect someone's not going to like your content, not going to like your style, because you just can't be for everyone. And it's just nearly impossible. But simply being extroverted and step up your game, maybe speak to the hater. Learn about why they're saying that, or maybe something you could improve, or something why you should stay doing what the hater is saying is wrong. Like telling you to get into an argument with the hater or whatsoever, but it's better for you to rather learn from the hater and actually understand why are they hating on you. And maybe if there's so much hater on that one thing, is this something you're actually doing wrong? Or maybe you could have improved from it. Like all the time I say, if the hater's gonna hate, just leave it there and move on. But meanwhile, you gotta rethink about why are people hating on your content? Why isn't people loving your stuff? Or why is that, right? So simply talking out to the hater, maybe you could essentially put them onto the flip side, getting them to know your truths, meaning behind the content that you're making or the thing that you're doing. Because oftentimes hater might have a miscommunication with you, such as if you were cutting an apple in a certain way, calling the name caramel or caramel in different ways. It's a human, regular social action that we do. And with the hater speaking on putting out their opinion, you simply could start up a conversation and build up much more off of that. And believe it or not, a lot of people went famous and viral by simply having so much amount of hater and essentially turn it into a fan. So I know there's so much people that had hater for doing stupid actions, certain funny thing. But as the more hate they gain, the haters start to slowly see and realize, person actually isn't doing something that's worse or bad. It's actually something very meaningful. It just looks stupid at the first time you're looking at it. But over time, if you look at this from a macro perspective, the hater isn't gonna hate you all the way 24/7 unless you do something real bad, which I hope none of you ever do that for. But oftentimes a hater could turn into your supporter or maybe possibly your biggest fan, because the hater might have been there since the day one of seeing your success growing over and over, and they essentially start to believe in you because they've been tracking you for such a long time. And you being an extroverted person, still willing to speak to them, even though they're hating on you, they might have a whole new point of view of how is this guy still talking to me in such a calm pace without being angry, no anger, no personal emotional intelligence involved. How is it possible? Maybe this guy is just some sort of genius or person that has just seen so much more bigger content. And trust me, from this one story where I also was just going out on a Lyft ride from one day showing a property, I was just getting on the Lyft and the driver's just greeting me like regularly, like how was your days and all the regular asking, checking in. But me simply starting off a deeper conversation, I was like, how's it going? How are you pursuing in the industry or learning from here? Because I want to know about why people are becoming Lyft driver in this big environment when there's so many opportunities laying around and it's always a supply and demand thing. But oftentimes, if you don't never speak up, you can't learn from their best perspective, because the Lyft driver themselves, they know it the best because they're the one getting the income. They're the one that reaching out to the customer. They know how much they're getting paid per hourly, and they could keep track of the data. While I don't have any of the information, but if I was willing to speak up and be an extroverted person, I speak to them, I could get the first hands-on information directly from the Lyft driver themselves, and maybe make a friend at the end of the day. So I was speaking up to the driver what I do, like real estate agent, I work around. So they pick me up and they talk about how they have a business they've been running. And maybe they could have just landed an opportunity if I have so much fun laying around. Maybe if it was a good opportunity to invest. Like, you never know what could happen next by simply starting off a conversation. But if you never put in the word, never put in the action, you don't make a move, nothing will happen. So as I was going with the story, the Lyft driver began to telling me how he started up the company. He want to have more social media platform, providing platform for people to generate content. So it's more sort of like a TikTok, since TikTok might get banned really soon. So everyone is looking for a come up opportunity to get the market share in such as TikTokification nowadays, where people see For You page stuff they like to see, and while they're scrolling around in this fast-paced attention world. So as the person telling me he want to start up his business, but he got his business running, but he's really low on fund and he can't get any venture capital to invest in them because they just haven't been generating any revenue. And since their platform is like session, and I don't want to go too much deeper into it, but I'm just telling you the process. The driver himself simply just told me he got to work 3 jobs a day, live, go back to his company, and then have another job, which I don't know what it is. But they say at the end of the day, it's all about whatever you got, and you got to give it all you got, because he want to make the changes. He want to make the difference. He want to provide a platform for people to create content, and he want to reward the content creator. But by doing that, it's really hard to get a market share, and especially when you have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Short, all of these domination platforms that already have huge amount of follower on it and huge fan that been on it. So it's really hard for them to start up from the bottom ground up. So oftentimes they talking to people, they probably gaining more share or more people to understand the product. What are the reasons why we should support the small business, and why are they starting all this up? Like, from that story, I learned so much that I just made a friend right there, simply speaking up to a Lyft driver. Like, I didn't know if a Lyft driver could own a whole business right there, because there's so much potential behind them. And when people share stuff, you learn so much more, because nothing shows on just the book by its cover, because You don't ever judge a book by its cover. Like I dress up so bad walking on the street looking like a homeless dude, but end up living in a luxury area because that's just my lifestyle. That's just how I am. But if you never come up to me, never ask, you wouldn't know the behind the scenes. You wouldn't know the truth, right? So it's just a simple story. There's so much story behind and so much knowledge in their brain that they're not willing to share unless you ask for. Because some of the stuff people don't want to tell a random person, but by you simply being extroverted person, you learn from them, you open up the conversation, you make everything more comfortable. People are willing to be more sharing their story, their lifestyle. There's so much more behind the scene because people like to brag about stuff, and obviously who doesn't, right? Like if I have a couple millions of dollars laying in the bank, why wouldn't I brag about it? Talk about, oh, you got some good investment idea, maybe I should jump on this boat. Because opportunity come from those small talk, and then with the big talk, that's when you get the business done. And like I say, the last most important thing, you gotta be able to see from other people's perspective. Because like I say, you don't see the mistake on your end because you are just doing what you're doing and you're so focused into the thing that you don't see what you're doing wrong. Just like Steve Jobs himself, he had to step away from Apple for years and years just to figure out himself. Maybe he was more fit for a different company, Pixar. Maybe he was a better CEO at it. Or maybe his work lifestyle was too aggressive that everyone just didn't like his lifestyle or his work ethic because he was so strict about everything. He wanted everything to be so perfect, and the amount of enthusiasm he has was unbelievably high. And by seeing from other perspective, you hire different CEO, you have different executive to look at you for your work situation. Maybe they see a different side of you. Maybe what you're doing is absolutely correct, but you just don't realize it. Or sometimes you're just early on in the process of doing something. Like Gary Vee always said, you're not failing and you're not succeeding yet. Not yet, because you're so early on in the process. You just gotta keep doing that thing if you're doing something right. But meanwhile, you gotta be able to have someone around you to keep track of it, because sometimes you're doing something wrong and you just don't know it yourself, and you gotta have someone to figure out, because they're not the one doing it. They're the one that watching you. So they're more clear because they have a more macro mindset and a perspective of the thing you're doing, while you're so into the micro, deeper into the thing that you're doing. So oftentimes you just can't figure out all by yourself, and you just got to have someone around you with different perspective, giving you a different idea, opinion, and thought on the thing. And then you go rewind and then rebuild the structure, do everything over, or maybe keep doubling down on the stuff that you're doing. So I got a perfect example here, just from investing itself. A lot of people believe in the investment they put in. Simply, even the market go the opposite direction while you're trying to short the market and the market go up more, or maybe you're trying to looking for the market going bullish but it become more bearish. Oftentimes we're so stuck in the situation that we have our mindsets trapped in the mind of thinking that it's gonna go that direction, it will be correct. But sometimes you might be wrong for that time, because you've been in a situation for way too long and you're way too deep that you can pull yourself out of the situation, while someone is brand new, fresh in, or been watching the situation the whole time, didn't take in any action or any step in. They might have been more clear because they're not emotionally effective. And which is why the most successful trader or investor in the world have a peaceful mindset, and they still need a partner and look for a different investment and different opinion. Like even Warren Buffett himself is so successful in investing and putting in long-term gains. He still needs Charlie Munger to give him different advice and take him as a partner, because oftentimes like people talking and being extroverted, speaking to each other, you learn a different perspective and you could restructure your mindset and your thinking. What you think of could have been thought could have been better. And it just brings in so much more ideas, such as leading to a creative side or plan changes. So at the end of it, if you want to win in today's world, simply you just gotta step up your game. I don't care you're introverted whatsoever. When you need to be extrovert, you need to step outside your comfort zone, because I actually believe an introverted person could turn into an extroverted person if they simply just take that one shot, step outside of their comfort zone and make a life-changing opportunity, a life-changing decision that might have been complete different, and put them onto a whole new level.